Do not save here. If you haven't heard, there's currently a bug in Granblue Fantasy Relink version 2.0.3. They announced the following on socials. We have confirmed an issue with version 2.0.3. When saving on the Grand Cipher deck, for grades Heavenly Unbound, Skyfarer, and beyond, there may be cases where the game cannot return to normal. Until this issue is resolved, please refrain from saving in that area. We are currently investigating the cause and working on a fix. We will provide an update on progress separately. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause to all users. So just in case, be safe and save in towns, Folka and Seed Hollow. Honestly, there was a non-0% chance that I was going to go to the training deck and then save my game there. And that would have sucked, and I know some of you might too. So consider this a PSA, and hopefully it saves some of you. If you already knew the information, no worries. I don't normally make videos like this, but I figure if I could save even one of you the grief of losing your save, it's worth it. While I've got you here, we're going to run the world solo in the background. I haven't played the game in a week, so we're going to derust a little bit and see how we do. While that's going on, I wanted to say we will be returning to Granblue Fantasy. I've been pretty busy this last week, so we haven't had much time to play Endless Ragnarok. That's going to change. We'll be back. So thank you for your patience. That being said, I have taken the time to read everybody's comments, and honestly, it's been so heartwarming to see how many people I've been able to help. I don't consider myself to be more important than anybody, so when you guys take the time to listen to what I have to say, it really means a lot, and I'll never take that for granted. Because at the end of the day, nobody's better than anyone else. Sometimes we're just sharing knowledge with one another, and learning is really cool. Speaking of learning, that brings us to the Immortal Shell video. There were a few discrepancies in the video that I wanted to correct. I apologize for this. First off, yes, I put way too many basic sigils at first, and we overcapped our damage cap. That was on purpose for a controlled test. Secondly, when we stripped Supplemental, I know some of you are saying, hey, it's 3 sigil versus 1 sigil slots. And yes, that's true, but it was to display the damage when hitting a supplemental attack versus not hitting a supplemental attack. Supplemental stacking does not scale the damage you deal, it's only the chance that you hit. If you play Final Fantasy XIV, it's like direct hit. You either do or you don't, and there's a static increase. With Supplemental, it's 20%. So for the sake of the argument and the test, we had to strip it all to show you the damage difference. Additionally, if you're using the Ascension weapon, you already get 25 levels of Supplement in the weapon. That means you're only going to achieve 42 out of 45 levels on Supplement. It's a 94% chance, and if you strip one, I think you drop down to 64% off the top of my head, which is not a very good success rate. But 94% is pretty good. So really, depending on your setup, it is a one-to-one trade. That covers basics. Regarding damage cap, I did forget to put Immortal Shell on when I was doing the damage cap test. I apologize for that as well. Like I mentioned, I am recovering from a brain injury, and while that's no excuse, and I really should double check my work and have peer review, I'm happy that you guys were able to fact check that for me. Ultimately, it doesn't really change the test, and you wouldn't really sacrifice damage cap in any endgame builds anyways, so that test was more for academic purposes than anything. That being said, thank you guys for watching my back and not being mean about it. Look, we're human. And we make mistakes even at the best of times. I remember a few days after I got hurt, I tried to brew a coffee and I completely forgot the mug. Who does that? These little things have become more difficult to live with, and I really hope I make a full recovery because it can make me seem like a fool a lot of the times, and it's embarrassing because I think I'm saying and doing the right things, but it's just way off the mark. So thank you guys. I'm not looking for any pity or sympathy. It just is what it is, and I have to learn to live with that. I feel like I still have a lot of knowledge and value that I could share with you guys, and it seems like the general reception is that you guys are interested in what I have to say, so I'm going to do my part wherever I can. Plus, I just love theory crafting, I love video games, and I love working on builds. We're kind of just yapping, which brings me to my next point. The end of the year is packed. We're going to be covering a couple of different games, our PAX West coverage, Beast of Reincarnation soon, we have Final Fantasy Resonance coming out before the end of the year. There's going to be a lot. So not just Granblue. When I do make Granblue content, I thought that maybe you guys were just interested in like, hey, here's the 60-second score test, here's the damage, and here's the build. I've quickly learned that you guys actually care more about the process and the thoughts behind it, so if y'all are interested, I would like to, going forward, show the builds, and then show it in a real-world application. Take on the Defy Infinity quests. Show you the thought process behind our playstyle, why I take improved dodge on Lucilius, but I might take guard payback on the world. There are different cases, and it would be wrong of me to assume that you would just understand the inference without showing. There were people talking about the Lancelot damage test video, talking about how, oh, you can't really keep Avalanche stacks up when you're in a real fight. Yes, I take mirror image, yes, it does make it easier, and yes, I'm able to keep 9 stacks in fights even against Lucilius. And while the bosses can move around a lot, there are ways that Lancelot can stick to the foe. But just because I know that in my head doesn't mean that you guys are going to know it from watching a training dummy. So I do want to start showing that in the videos. It would make them a little bit longer, but hopefully that's okay. And I feel like it would set a lot of your worries at ease. This cycles me back around to Immortal Shell. We talked about the basic sigils, we talked about damage cap, we talked about supplement. There have been a lot of comments asking questions and clarifications, so I wanted to touch on a few things here too. There are different things in the game that are additive, multiplicative, and then additive within the multiplicative formula, if you know what I mean. For example, damage cap, if you're able to hit for 100,000, and you have no damage cap at all, and now you increase it by 50%, you're now able to hit for 150,000, right? As you're scaling that up, you're going to get up to, I think it's like somewhere between like 1900 and 2000% damage cap, right? Like, unironically, when we have a full build, there's so much in your masteries, there's so much in the mastery traits, there's so much in the builds now that it just adds up, right? So that is all going to be additive, leading to our ultimate damage cap. Now, every attack's going to be a little bit different. Some attacks, you can't prevent it. They're just going to hit for like 300%. Other ones, you might not even be able to hit 100%. There are some SBAs and link bursts and stuff that just hit like a wet noodle, you know? Especially if you don't invest in them. But for the most part, you're actually going to cap your attack pretty easily, with little to no boosts. Then you have things like War Elemental, which is your elemental advantage. That's going to be multiplicative. You also have damage that's going to be additive within the multiplication, like your buffs and debuffs. This is going to be added to the modifiers, which will multiply your attack. But the actual formula itself will be like, oh, you know, I deal an extra 10% with my buff. Okay, that's added to the multiplication. And then you have your damage enhancements, like some traits and sigils. Gallanza's Warpath is a great example. Increases your 20%. We also have an extra 20% damage dealt while we're in Deathmatch Finale. That's a good example of a trait. I didn't want to overwhelm people doing all the damage numbers and formula, and it was supposed to be a raw, scriptless video with little to no editing. In fact, I don't think I did any editing. So this cycles over to Immortal Shell. At first, I didn't really think the attack 10% gave me much because I'm fighting a lot of Infinity quests, so the 10% isn't active while the boss is in Overdrive. Yes, that's true. You are going to miss out on various buffs while the bosses are in Overdrive, so you do want to think about it, but honestly, don't think about it that much. People make it seem like it's a big deal. When you're in the fight, do you really give a crap? The boss is going to be in Overdrive, it's going to leave Overdrive. It's going to go golden, it's going to get weak. You're going to break him, you're going to link time. Most of the time, you're talking a difference of like, what, a minute? That's no time at all unless you're trying a true solo. And if you play well, I don't remember the last time that we timed out on a quest. So really it's like, Immortal Shell, no Immortal Shell, noodle, don't noodle. It's really up to you. If you want to bring Fatebreaker, bring Fatebreaker. If you want to bring Immortal Shell, bring Immortal Shell. If you want to bring Terra Ventus and Aqua and Birth by Sleep, do it up. Nobody's stopping you. If you don't want to run natural defenses, no problem. You'll take a little bit more damage, but it's okay. Just dodge. At the end of the day, the build is your own, and nobody's going to police you. And if they try, hoots on them. You know what I mean? Ultimately, Immortal Shell is still incredibly strong, even if you wanted to take out the attack 10%. It's really not a big deal. And yes, working on Sir Barrold is going to show discrepancies because unlike real fights, you're not going in and out of Overdrive, and you're not going in and out of SBAs, and depending on your party composition, you're going to have different buffs and debuffs, and you're going to be doing different things, and there are ads. But at that point, you're going to want to build for each fight, because each fight's going to do different things, you know? You're going to want increased stun to bring Beelzebub. Heck, on the first run, we brought the referee because his stun from summon was pretty good. On the world, you're not going to bring stun, because when you perfect guard, you're going to break him that way. And did you know that debuffs him and he takes 300% more damage? You can actually check what each of the infinity debuffs and affixes do before you load into the quest. So when you're talking on a scale that large, the nuances of our build are going to make such a little difference in things like the world specifically. Bahamut versus a fake fight. Lucilius, it's all about dodging, and then yeah, you gotta break him during certain moments, but you could do an SBA chain, you could do a link time, you could do a break. There are a lot of options you have when it comes to Lucilius and how to handle his mechanics, and outside of the opener, you're just breaking him into a Paradise Lost if you miss. Zegolith is awesome. I love Zegolith. It doesn't matter if they're Overdrive, not Overdrive, it doesn't matter what they're doing. I really like that fight. And I don't think about my build too much. Ultimately, what I see lead to failure is not the build, it's people misplaying and dying and then you're running the clock on critical. That is where most quests fail, in my opinion. Very rarely is it because people are not doing enough damage while staying alive and keeping uptime the entire fight. Maybe your experience is different than mine. Like I said, I'm no better than anyone, I don't think that I'm better than anyone, we're all just people playing the games that we love together. So thank you guys for sticking around, I really appreciate it. Again, going forward, we're going to be having a lot of content coming out. I hope you guys will look forward to it and come by and support. This is actually my second take on the video because, I was a fool, and I was recording some audio last night from a game, and I forgot to unmute the microphone in OBS, so I did a whole spiel just now, and the first take was honestly better in my opinion, but because it's no script, I actually forget a lot of what I said, so I just started from the beginning again. So yeah, these little things are like tough for me, but I'm learning and adjusting, and I hope you guys will continue to come by and watch the content. I'll be live streaming more Granblue this week. I believe this week is Beast of Reincarnation coming out, and I want to play more Echoes of Einkrad. I had been saying Ankred this whole time because I hadn't seen Sword Art, and people were like, oh my god, you're saying it wrong, and I was like, oop, my bad. But the game is actually not that bad. I know it got a lot of flack, but again, I'm really easy to please when it comes to games, so, you know, whether I get sponsored or not is independent. I usually work with brands because I enjoy their game, not because they're telling me I have to say something nice. If I don't like a game, I just don't review it, you know? It's better to say nothing at all than to be dishonest or say something mean. So yeah, I'll tell it like it is when it comes to a game. If I critique it, it's because there's something really wrong, because again, I'm pretty easy to please. And while our interests may not align when it comes to some games, I think we can all agree that Endless Ragnarok knocked it out of the park. Well, I hope to catch you in the next video. Until then, laters gators.
選ばせてやる。